As soon as I arrived on the streets of London, I wanted to make sure I had what it took to survive the next 5 minutes, which were guaranteed to be wild. So I killed a man with my bare hands, stole his nice blue hot hatch, and drove it like it was hot. Because it was. Now, I wasn't entirely sure whether this was Rick Sanchez, Doc Brown, or Beetlejuice, but I wanted him to sign my bollocks.
Give me some space, yeah?
Unfortunately, I ended up knocking him out and signing his. Now, with that out of the way, it was finally time for me to head to DeadSec HQ, so I could collect my Hackerboy starter pack and my free box of fluorescent crayons. I graciously parked my bike behind the bar so as to not bother anyone, but if I'm being honest, it did look like the bartender was a little bit displeased with the fact that I left it laying down, so I straightened it up like a true gentleman and headed into my futuristic base. I changed into something a little more comfortable, then headed back up to the bar to have a quick cheeky drink before heading out onto the streets. To be honest, it wasn't even a drink, it was more like probably a quarter of a drink, maybe less, like maybe a sixth of a drink, more like a sip. Honestly, I was sober as f***. Come to think of it, pretty sure it was only water. One thing was already crystal clear though, and that was the fact that the millennials did not have what it took to reclaim that place from the grasp of the naughty evil Albion boys. This was a job for the boomers. And my job was to recruit an army of elderly people, 80 years and over, preferably with dementia, arm them with ludicrous amounts of heavy weaponry, and send them out to do God's work. The only problem with this plan, though, was that none of them wanted to talk to me. One guy even tried to reverse cowgirl my bike in an attempt to escape my highly flammable alcohol breath. Don't really blame him, though, to be honest. It was probably also in part because I was ugly as f***. One of the old birds that I tried to recruit was actually an adult film star. I finally decided to transform into this guy, in the hopes that being slightly better looking would make me more endearing to the oldies, and then made the world a better place by killing my previous character in the middle of the street so that he could never procreate. I stole a nice blue car, ran over a handful of people, met some babe who survived 3 separate plane crashes, and an old man who had a F*** Albion tattoo on his left butt cheek. Sadly, he had another one on his ballsack that said F*** DeadSec, so he wouldn't talk to me either. Whilst on my Grand Theft Auto crime spree, I peeped an Albion soldier abusing a member of the public, so I reminded him that nobody likes bullies by running him over repeatedly with the front of my car. Then, when his buddies showed up and rammed me off the road, I pulled my grenade launcher out of my pants and made them say hello to my little friend. You know, keep out signs have a really strange tendency of making people want to get into places they otherwise wouldn't want to get into, or is that just me? Either way, I killed all the gangsters guarding the alleyway and then realized that they were just a bunch of delightful fellows in the business of wrapping people up for postage. Skip forward a couple of hours, and despite my best efforts, I was still unable to recruit a single old person to the cause. I figured that maybe a more feminine approach was in order, so I became the ultimate cosplayer. Very nice. Within 5 seconds of becoming her, I saw an old person walking down the street who was apparently an influencer with over 400,000 followers. He did teach me a pretty cool ninja trick though that I was eager to test out. Yep. Worked like a charm. After that, I stole a cargo drone and took to the skies, flying backwards at all times because the cool night air felt good on my tuchus. In the distance, I saw a solar power array on top of one of the buildings I was flying over, so I made a brief stop to blow it up because we all know that solar power is not over 9,000. Now it was time for me to sneak my way into the secret Albion underground detention center that I visited in my previous video. I hacked the drone, used its lights across the broken pathways thingy leading to the control room, and
this is one big torture dungeon.
You know what? I think you might be right. Hooray, fireworks for me. I am the best. As a reward for all of my hard work, I was given a Hitman. Except this Hitman was a woo-man. Not exactly what I needed in order to clickbait my video with more Hitman content, so I tossed a grenade over my shoulder and blew everyone up, including myself. There was, however, one survivor. Now, little did I know that the old man that I immediately bumped into and tried to chat up would later become the hero of this story and the savior of London. I threw myself off the second-story balcony, landed on my stiletto heels like an absolute champ, and refused to play football.
Ha! Not on your life!
But whilst I couldn't play football, boy oh boy could I ride a moped. I needed to get fit fast, so I recruited a pole dancer for a couple of lessons, then snuck my way into some kind of server room and beat the living bejesus out of the young man working inside, then teabagged him repeatedly. Though I'll be honest, it wasn't as easy as it used to be when I was in my 40s. Now, after all that pole dancing, I was feeling pretty good and decided to turn things up a notch, so I took to the sky on a cargo drone and infiltrated an Albion stronghold. I wasn't quite sure what the mask I was wearing was, but the nice young man in the big X shop in the area with all of the red lights said it was popular amongst the young people these days. I think he called it a Gump mask or something. I did enjoy Forrest Gump. I moved through the stronghold like an absolute Gump and freed the hostage that I'd come here for, then escaped with the hostage. Unfortunately, Alzheimer's kicked in and I forgot who she was, but her running away, screaming triggered my Nam flashbacks, so I shot her. Then I ran away at 0.1 kilometers per hour because I gotta go fast, man. You'll never take me alive, Sonny Jim boys. Unfortunately though, it seemed like Nathan still wanted nothing to do with DeadSec. But after digging through his records, I discovered that a hitman would be trying to kill him at lunchtime. And you know what they say, the way to a man's heart is by killing the hitman that wants to kill him. After that, I grabbed a tiny, very, very small, cheeky drink. Absolutely not 4 drinks, okay, bro?
Finally, a proper drink.
And headed outside to try and recruit some more old people.
I haven't done a thing, so kindly right off.
Unfortunately, that didn't go too well. Anyway, now that I was drunk, it was time to go for a fly. And one thing that I learned in London was that the best way to hit someone with your car is hard and fast. It generally leaves bystanders so shocked that they completely forget to call the cops. And after a catastrophic drunken off-road drive through a hobo encampment, I was finally ready to evolve into my final form. Nathan Liu, listed firearms as an interest on social media, has a shock rifle in his pants, and he has a death wish. My kind of man.
Welcome to our little family, love.
Oh, yes. Been waiting my whole damn life to kick some bollocks.
It took all of about 5 seconds for me to KO my previous character, steal a cop car, tail whip a dealer off his corner, and drive through the front door to the local cop shop. I could feel the power surging through my veins. Or was that the Viagra that I took 30 minutes ago? I wasn't quite sure, but one thing I did know was that I was no ordinary 80-year-old man. I was an 80-year-old geriatric super soldier from Mars. And mate, let me tell ya, I was snapping necks and cashing checks like I'd been doing it all my life. To be honest, maybe I had. Dementia makes these things hard to remember. I hacked the mainframe and snuck into the prison cells where I released a lady who, for all I know, could have been Jacqueline the Bloody Ripper. Not my problem. And then, because I was so damn good, I snuck my way into a ginormous gangster-infested hideout and took them all out so quietly that nobody ever knew, including myself. But to be fair, I don't even know who I am. And now that I discovered my superpowers, which were obviously f***ing people up, I headed to the local illegal underground bare-knuckle fight club to kill a few people for money.
You're going to fight, right? Take on our champions?
Hang on. What?
Come on, it'll be fun. Like, listen, I won't lie to you. They will totally kill you.
I killed this guy, and this gal, and this gal, and then these 2 gimp twins as well. I was unstoppable.
Wagwan.
After that, my old mate Jimmy, or at least some guy that said he was my old mate Jimmy, but let's be real, I don't even know where I live or what year it is, asked me to drive recklessly around town, causing as much damage as I could so he and his boys could steal some toilet paper and baked beans from the local supermarket. Then ran over a couple of people because apparently the police don't like that.
We're gonna give you and everyone else in the borough a show.
He said he was going to give me and everyone else in the borough some coal, or at least that's what I thought he said, but my hearing aid fell out the window 50 kilometers ago. Hopefully he didn't say give everyone a blow, because that would have been weird. Anyway, with all of the glorious deeds that I'd been doing around London, it was time to make myself look as good with clothes as I looked without them. Oh yeah, baby, I am looking schmick, and this mask, oink, oink, oink. I was now looking more ready than ever to kill a man. So I stole a car, hit my hearing aid that was laying in the middle of the road from earlier, got the speed wobbles, and accidentally pile-drived old Chloe Watson through the door. She wasn't looking too good, but at least she was still moving. At this point, my life was now dedicated to liberating London from the oppressors, and this guy was oppressing me. So I wanted to kill him and make it look like an accident. See? Like an accident. Next up, I had to infiltrate the Albion brainwashing facility where they were attaching electrodes to people's chodas and sending them negative vibes. Before getting to work though, I stopped for a quick cheeky drink, like just one tiny little drink, not even one, more like a quarter or a fifth or a sixth of a cheeky drink, but definitely not 5. And used my spider bot to slip into the back door. It seemed like they were forcing people to play really shit VR games. Such torture! And believe me, I know. So I flew my drone to the outside of the building and switched off their VR headset. London rejoiced, and so did I with one more drink. Or 10. After that, I hacked my way into an Albion plane that was transporting prisoners to the Gulag. So being the humanitarian gentleman that I am, I hacked the plane instead and flew it into the side of a mountain. I had now liberated 7 out of 8 parts of London, and it was time for my final hurrah. I snuck my way into the mainframe of Albion HQ, sent in a drone, navigated it through a seemingly impossible maze, ripped the high-capacity battery out of the mainframe, then carried it all the way back to the mainframe, plopped the plonker in the chute, blew up all of their servers, and finally, the entirety of London had been liberated.
I feel alive!
Ramming the
Darkness, my old friend.
So my journey began the same way that all great journeys do, with a little bit of good old-fashioned breaking and entering. I decided to warm up by doing a little bit of parkour, but realized pretty quickly that I'd probably be better off blowing my own brains out. What I lacked in parkour skills, though, I made up for with my ability to stealthily move around without ever being detected. I found a security guard that was looking pretty stiff, so I lined up his with my crosshair and proceeded to fill his with 9,000 volts of electricity. I met two security guards that I thought I could be friends with, but one of them went and ruined everything.
I'm just not that into aliens or video games.
Remember everybody, telling a computer nerd that you're not into video games is basically the same thing as signing your own death warrant. Anyway, no matter how many times I spammed the open door button, the door just wouldn't open. So I needed to use my ultra instinct hacking skills to jump from camera to camera until I was able to access the laptop that would open the door. I jumped on the first mainframe and proceeded to hack the security door that was guarding the other mainframe or some shit. Yeah, this one. This is what I was talking about. I hacked the other mainframe and also took this opportunity to squeeze out a turd and managed to escape in the air vent behind me. I literally had no idea who this house belonged to, so I decided to jump headfirst into the ocean with all of my clothes on. Little did I know though that this would actually be my superhero origin story, for when I got out of the water I was completely dry. From this day forward, I would be known as Teflon Man. As I was completely new to the San Francisco area, I decided to steal a car to see just what I needed to do in order to piss the police off enough to want to kill me. Apparently this is very easy to achieve in America. Driving in the middle of the road like a dickhead didn't seem to do it though, so I drove into the back of a patrol car instead. I guess my hiding skills weren't quite up to scratch because my body is now 99% lead. As there was a terrible traffic jam in the middle of the San Francisco Bay Area and I was a level 9000 god tier hacker, I decided to use my powers for good. Now everybody is dead. I wasn't sure who this guy was, but his outfit was making me suspicious. He fucking disappeared. After I finished enjoying a nice succulent French meal, I met the girl of my dreams, Sharon Ferguson. Honestly though, San Francisco was a really exciting place, and I couldn't take about 10 steps without seeing something absolutely like crashing your magical levitating bus into the side of the barbershop when you're trying to avoid social media. But hey, when you're earning $1 million a year, you can do whatever you want. I found some hipster douchebag with a man bun showing off his new ride to his two best friends, so I used my level 9000 god tier hacking skills to kill him in front of them. Literally nobody gave a. Now I needed to travel 4 kilometers by water, but I did not own a boat, so I did what anybody else would have done and decided to swim with all of my clothes and a fire helmet on. It took all of about 30 seconds before I realized that this idea was and proceeded to steal some rich prick's boat. Being out to sea did make me a little bit nervous though, so I wanted to test the durability of the boat I was on. Fortunately, it seemed pretty good, though I can't say the same thing for the poor bastard that I rode over the top of and who is now dead at the bottom of the ocean. After I finished feeding the fish with my new friend's body, I decided to make a brief pit stop at this island. There was a huge building, so I sprinted inside and realized that I literally walked myself into the middle of a supermax prison. I took out my cell phone to check the time and accidentally opened the wrong application. This is why you never buy iPhones. Now that I'd already murdered 2 people here, I figured that 1 more wouldn't be an issue. I figured that 4 more wouldn't be an issue. Fortunately, a whole bunch of nerds decided to try and call the police. Needless to say, things didn't turn out too well for any of them. It was a lot of fun for me though. Now that I was on America's Most Wanted list, I decided to leave. And it was a big ha-ha funny moment when I realized that I'd been brutally murdering people inside of Alcatraz all along. On my way to the getaway boat, I saw the very same seagull that stole a french fry from me last week. So I up and made my escape. I had no idea where I was going, so I decided to follow the ginormous hexagon that was floating in my eye. When I finally got there, I found this lady who was apparently a judo expert, so I decided to put that to the test.
Wow, okay. This isn't a big deal.
The next friend I made in this part of San Francisco was a guy called Nick, who was obviously getting taken for a ride by a bunch of scammers. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the position to help him financially, so I did the next best thing. Nick is dead now. Then, to solidify my position among the high-tier ranks of human filth in San Francisco, I stole $79 from a homeless man wrapped in tarp. Now that I was the equivalent of I decided to steal myself an electric car. And let me tell you, there's a very good reason why these things are referred to as America's silent killers. And here I finally was. Gary's Games and Glory. Kill me now. Hey everybody, I'm here for the nerd party.
Fuck yeah!
I headed down into Hacker HQ and proceeded to catch up with my douchebag hipster friends.
Hell yeah, man!
This gold-plated powerhouse is a must-have for gangsters and dictators around the world. Can't wait to pop a couple skulls with this bad boy. Holy sh! I'm Kanye West. Anyway, my calling in life was now clear. I had to find like-minded people who would join DeadSec with me and help me liberate San Francisco from Silicon Valley. This is exactly exactly the kind of person that we're looking for. Or guys like this.
What the fuck is this? Fuck off! Piece of shit.
Why is everyone in this game so angry? And bro, are you really malnourished on $63,000 a year?
Oh! Shit, go bother someone else. Oh no! I'm gonna fuck you up!
I tried to run, but people kept chasing me for my autograph. I have no idea where I pulled that sniper rifle out of. And what happened next? Well, that was just all a really big misunderstanding. And a word of advice, never try and stop a crazy man stealing a Prius.
Wanna start something?
Not really, but I'll finish it though. The blood all over my Prius was annoying me, so I stole a new car and proceeded to rip fat burnouts in front of the police. For some reason, they really didn't seem to care. I could only assume that at this point, they'd probably already had enough of my Oh hey, look at that, I'm in Silicon Valley. Guess it's time to get some fake tits. Hey, Mr. Bean. Oh, now this car looks...
Prime 8 got their hands on some of our data.
Fuck, where are they?
In a car, moving fast.
Oh my god, there's somebody in a car moving fast. I gotta do something about it.
Marcus, they're getting away. You've
No, they're not.
Faster.
They're not getting away. They're dead. It's fine. Relax. And this is to make sure that they're actually dead. Don Corleone says... Hey, what the... Wait, what the... Where's my car going? There's another player in my game, you Good thing I got rid of that guy before he was able to help me. Shortly after that, I found an armored vehicle that was apparently full of money. I'd never tried hacking into an armored vehicle before, but apparently there is a first time for everything. What the
I can't believe it! You really think I'm gonna take your shit?
What? You crazy lady. Now, you may or may not recognize this douchebag, but he's the head of Big Pharma, responsible for making leukemia medication so expensive that nobody can buy it.
What are you guys doing to me? Why me? Come on! I'm a good guy!
After hacking into his computer and stealing his life savings, I had the dilemma of choosing which one of his two vehicles I would steal. I chose this one. Unfortunately, the police also chose this one to shoot like 9,000 times. I went back to swap to the other vehicle, but apparently the police in San Francisco are armed with fragmentation grenades. This life of crime was starting to take a toll on my sanity levels, so I decided to play Uber for a day, and I appreciated that she didn't say anything about the condition of my car and promised to drive as fast as possible with my eyes closed. She said that she wanted to do some mad jumps and so I was like, yeah!
Great jump!
But unfortunately we crashed into someone's balcony and then landed in a weed garden. I mean, this actually would have been really lucky if no one was home, but unfortunately it was full of drug dealers and we both ended up getting shot to death. After all the king's horses and all the king's men managed to put me back together again, I raided an FBI stronghold to steal their SUV, which was packed with floppy disks and RAM sticks. Oh, you're not gonna fall. What? You're still alive? Yet for some reason, no matter where I went, people always ended up laughing at me. Why is everyone laughing at me everywhere I go? And why is this guy's shirt so sweaty? Our next target was a Ghost Rider-like sentient smart car that we were going to steal from a movie set in order to make a movie of our own.
This ain't your mama's smart car.
Anyway, I drove to the movie lot on my pink moped and proceeded to hunt down the smart vehicle that I was going to steal and use to make my own hacker movie. What the hell am I doing with my life? I drove through the city like an absolute maniac, running into every animate and inanimate object that I came across, and finally arrived back at Hacker HQ. Alright boys, I'm here. Though the car's not exactly looking too good. On my way to the next mission, I received a notification that told me somebody had invaded my game and was going on a joyride. And as we all know, or at least should know, nobody goes on joyrides around here but me. Oh, you cheeky bastard. Hey pal, payback's a bitch. Got him. Now that I'd built a little bit of a name for myself around San Francisco, I had enough research points to unlock the ability called Gang Attack, an ability that basically lets you call in gang hits on random members of the public. And then I realized I could do Gang Skirmish, which I guess is just like a gang bang.
SMPD, cease and desist!
Wow, what the hell is going on down here? Oh my goodness, is this happening right now? I think this might be the perfect opportunity for me to call in a gang hit. So now I'm just gonna sit here and wait for the carnage to unfold. Oh, here they are. Who the hell are these guys and why are they coming here to kill police officers? And I'm just standing here right in the middle of it. I've got nothing to do with anything. Oh, this is so dumb. Wow, bro, that's some great music. Totally love it. Nice feet.
How can you go out in public like that and make such...
What? I really didn't like these two people, but fortunately somebody tried to kill me with a grenade and ended up killing both of them instead. Thank you, random person. My curiosity then got the better of me, and I couldn't help but wonder what would happen if I called in a gang hit on a bunch of police officers driving in their car. Oh my god, this is so great. Uh-oh, it looks like they caught one of them. Get in the car, dirtbag. Anyway, that's it. So my journey began somewhere on the streets of London. I needed a ride and spotted a pretty rad-looking motorbike, but some drove up the back of it, so I stole her car instead and gently moved her off the road so as to prevent an accident from happening. I also very nicely parked her car for her, on top of her. After that, I ran back to the motorbike and proceeded to fang it at maximum speed without a helmet, stopping for nothing but the solid concrete wall I ran into. After that, I found a police officer who was packing an LMG in his pants, so I tased him, stole his cop car, and went for the most glorious joyride of my entire life. Honestly, London is a beautiful place by night, especially when you don't give a f about the road rules. I finally arrived at my destination, but decided that I was going to rock up in style, so I beat down the pizza guy, stole his moped, and, well, you can watch what happened. I opened the secret doorway to my underground base only to find a woman stuck between the wall, hopped on Skype to be congratulated by my superior for my brief murder and Grand Theft Auto spree earlier that evening.
Well done, team.
And then got drunk and shot everyone in the bar. Karma, however, is an absolute bitch. Fortunately, though, I came straight back from the dead, but this time as a woman who really liked gold. I used Tinder on my phone to hack the front gate to the secret Albion compound, then headed inside with my level 100 stealth skills to audition for the WWE and the next Matrix movie, both at the same time. Down in the basement, I found a dude who was eating a poo in a jail. Okay, let me try that again. Down in the basement, I found a dude who was eating a poo in a jail cell and then realized that this was just a run-of-the-mill dentist. Before leaving, though, I beat this guy's meat so good that his head went through the wall. I found a cargo droid and decided that the risk of falling off to my death was totally worth the fun that I was going to have up in the sky. It didn't take too long, though, until everyone started shooting at me and I was brutally murdered by some spoiled kid's Christmas present. Even though I was a master hacker, I seemed to lack grit, so I headed to the nearest local illegal bare-knuckle boxing fight club to kill some fools. I killed this fool, and then I killed this fool, and finally I recruited this fool, and then killed them anyway when no one was looking. With the money I earned from killing fools, I bought myself a moped, which I immediately crashed into the side of an SUV. Some guy recorded the whole thing for WorldStar, so I pulled out my phone and did the same because I'm a Karen, and then I proceeded to do some magic. Anyway, seeing as I was already in the water, I decided to explore and taste the local sewer system, and ended up in a secret Albion detention center. I shot everyone with a taser, but seeing as they were also hydrated, they died from the electric shock, and I finally made my way into the belly of the beast. I hacked a meteor droid and used it to light the path before me as I repeatedly fell into the filled water below, wasting approximately 50% of my Watch Dogs Legion recording session. The city seemed pretty impressed by my actions. So impressed, in fact, that they gave me a professional hitman as a playable character. No joke. And seeing as I was a British hitman, my first priority was to find a football, then remind myself of how shit I was, get frustrated, shoot the ball, and get every person in the park dobbing me into the cops. Being a master of escape, however, I stole a boat and drove off with nothing but finesse. Skip forward a couple of moments and I was at the Palace of Westminster, where it was time for me to liberate more of London by putting more bullets in more people's faces. I went inside, summoned a spider bot, and then climbed my way to the top of Big Ben, where I shoved my spider dick in the power socket and created some more fireworks. On my way to wherever God was taking me, I bumped into a homeless Irishman and invited him to join DeadSec. He promised me not to shit on the couch. After that, I went to buy myself some new rags, where I thought I'd stick to the whole London theme and dressed myself up like an absolute before heading back out to steal a gold car, rip some fat donuts in the middle of the road, break into another secret Albion facility, and proceed to practice my special move without discrimination. Man, woman, everybody's nutsack got it. And then after that, I crashed my motorbike into a Coke can, flew off the front, and died in the gutter. Next up, I was a super spy. Think like James Bond, but a female version that likes to punch buskers in the mouth, steal motorbikes from innocent civilians, and then grind their nuts into the ground until there's literally nothing left.
Oh, yes. Been waiting my whole damn life to kick some bollocks.
So I did just that.
Have you taken leave of your...
And yes, I'm an 80-year-old geriatric man with a gold custom-made Batmobile, no license, and 2 glass eyes in my head. As you can see from my glorious driving demonstration, I snuck into yet another secret Albion facility thingy and shot a couple of fools with my stun gun until Alzheimer's finally kicked in, and I forgot what I was doing there, so I went home. Somehow, on the way there, I ended up in the red light district, went full vigilante mode, broke into a drug dealer's compound, killed everyone, then drove to the nearest fight club to prove that age doesn't matter, but I was never seen again.